all week I've been hearing about all these people having these $5,000 days and $10,000 days and $20,000 days. That to me just gets me fired up. I think what gets me even more fired up are people, the lots and lots of people, not just the big leaders, but lots and lots of people who are earning anywhere from $500 in Bitcoin to $1,000 in Bitcoin in their very first day with Q-Trex. I think that is truly exciting. So I know there's a lot of people on here right now. They've been hearing some of these stories. We know they've been leaking out. They've been going into the airways. A lot of people are wondering exactly what's going on. So my job is real simple tonight, man. It's going to be to tell you who Q-Trex is, what it is that we do, and why you should care. Even if we're a great company doing something awesome, what does that have to do with you? And why are we in this massive, massive leadership launch that we're going to talk about here tonight? So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. I say a lot and I say it fast, so I want to make sure you get a chance to write it down. This is being recorded though, so you can always watch the recording later. But if you have any questions, I want you to get back to the person who invited you on, because this thing is too hot to wait. If you see it and you want to seize it, you want to take action immediately, that's going to be a big deal for you. So first of all, we're in the middle of this aggressive international leadership search. We've talked about that a lot, but one of the things I recognize is the definition of leader is wide and it's varied. Right now, I'm sure that on this webinar right now, we've got a bunch of people who are cryptocurrency experts. We usually do I call them crypto heads, right? Where they know everything there is to know about crypto, about blockchain, about the way that the codings are done, et cetera. Then on top of that, I'm sure we've got some other home-based business professionals because, they've actually proven themselves by being able to build large international networks across the world and been able to show people how to, simply duplicate some things and use leverage to build that to huge success. So I'm glad you guys are here. I know we also got some social media influencers. I'm starting to see it pop up now. So people are hitting it on their Instagram. They're starting to hit it on Facebook. They're starting to hit it on YouTube. So I know you guys have the ability to attract tons and tons and tons of viewers who can see this. A lot of people around the world right now are hungry. They're looking for something. You're able to reach out to them instantly through some of these social media platforms. So I'm glad you guys are here. And then we've got these community influencers, pastors, teachers, coaches, business leaders. All of you are kind of converging here on Q-Trex at the same time. So here's what I will say to you all. You all have different bases of knowledge. You all are really good and are experts at some things, but some of these other things we might talk about might be outside of your purview. That's okay. I'm just trying to give you the 30,000 foot perspective. If you like what you see, get back to the person who invited you and you can get down into the granular detail, but don't miss it just because we're going to say a couple of things that may be for a crypto guy, but it may be not for a social media influencer and vice versa. Don't miss it just because of that, because as we go through this, we're going to talk about blockchain. We're going to talk about smart contracts. We're going to talk about matrices, unilevels. We're going to talk about crowdfunding. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk a lot about Bitcoin. In fact, I will tell you, you don't have to be an expert at any of these things. You don't even have to understand all of them. Just get a general idea of how they fit together in this thing we call Q-Trex, how this is an amalgamation of all these incredible concepts. And you're going to start to understand why we've got our hands on something, why we're able to bring something to the marketplace that simply has never existed before, that is exploding, literally exploding the financial wealth of people around the world in a short period of time, guys. So let's start talking about the Q-Trex. But first, I got to start talking about my man, Laszlo the Legend. I got to let you know where we came from so you can know where we're going. And Laszlo is legendary. That's why I call him Laszlo the Legend. He's legendary for two reasons. The first is this one, and maybe you've heard it before. Laszlo was the first person back in May 22nd, 2010, who actually proved that cryptocurrency could have real world applications. He actually was able to take something called Bitcoin, which up until that moment was only digital ones and zeros out there on the internet, and basically turn it into a real world purchase. He actually posted up on a posting board. He offered and said, hey, if anybody will get me 2 pizzas, I will gladly pay you $30 worth of Bitcoin. A gentleman took him up on it, and Laszlo purchased 2 pizzas for $30 worth of Bitcoin. It was the very first transaction of utilizing cryptocurrency to buy something in the real world. You're going to see it in a second. It was not the last, but it was the very first. As a result, every May 22nd is called Bitcoin Pizza Day. It's a really, really big day of celebration from 10 years ago, because people realized that at this point it went from being theory to reality. He's legendary for that reason. And for that reason, we should all thank him, because a lot of people have been able to get wealthy because of Laszlo actually proving it out. Now, the other reason why he's legendary, and the reason why he has that deer in the headlights look on his face right here, is because back then in 2010, one Bitcoin was only worth $0.003. That is 1/3 of a penny. 1/3 of a penny. You needed 3 Bitcoins just to get 1 penny. So for him to get $30 worth of Bitcoin, that was 10,000 Bitcoin. 10,000. At today's prices, 10,000 Bitcoin would be worth well over $100 million. So he's the guy that is also known, he's a cautionary tale for a person who acted too early and ultimately paid what would have been $100 million for 2 Papa John's pizzas. And every single year around May, some talking head pulls him onto a talk show and says, why did you pay $100 million? And the number has gotten worse and worse, right? Because the Bitcoin price, first it was, why did you pay several $100,000 for pizza? Then it was, why did you pay a couple of million? Now it's, why did you pay $100 million for pizza? And he gets the same frustrated look on his face every single year. And he just says, because I didn't know. Guys, I'm telling you right now, at the end of this webinar, I don't want to hear you say that. Some of you will decide to rock with us. Some of you decide that you won't. You're going to wait. You're going to hesitate. You're going to delay. You're going to miss it. But don't say later when people say, why didn't you grab Q-Trex when you could have? It's because you didn't know, because you're going to know right now just how powerful this is. Now, next thing I want to do is just a quick lesson for you about assets and liabilities. Things that increase with value over time are assets. Things that decrease in time with in value with time are liabilities. So that Bitcoin back in 2010, 10 years ago, 1/3 of a penny. Today, over $10,000. In fact, today, literally today, over $11,400 per Bitcoin. So again, that's increasing in value. That would be an asset. That $1, that 2010 dollar back then, the spending power now, because of inflation, only 81 cents. So that's decreasing in value with time. That would make it a liability. However, why is it that so many of us have been programmed our entire lives to run out and chase paper liabilities instead of accumulating digital assets? It's because no one ever taught us what we should be going after. I'm telling you right now, guys, people right now in the know are in this massive crypto accumulation mode. They get it. They want to go out and they want to get as much crypto as they can because they understand this better than the average person. And if you're going to accumulate crypto, you want to accumulate Bitcoin because of its history, its price, and its stability. This is the grandfather that's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And the people who get that, they're going to be the ones who cash in big. Now, if you think you missed it, if you say, oh man, well, it's already $11,000, I missed it, think again. The people who know said that Bitcoin could get to $20,000 just by the end of this year, which is only a couple of months from now. But more importantly, over the next 10 years, it could get up to almost $400,000 per coin. I've heard some estimates that are twice as high as that. So we're talking about some amazing, incredible growth that's going to happen for the people who see it and seize it. Now, you think that we're just saying this? It's not just us, guys. Look, Bitcoin is going mainstream. Microsoft, AT&T, Wikipedia, BMW, even KFC right now is saying, if you would like to, you can come in and buy some chicken for Bitcoin. Now, why is KFC exchanging chicken for Bitcoin? Guys, that's the Laszlo IQ test. They want to see if you're dumb enough to give up an appreciating digital asset for some chicken. Guess what? Some people are. KFC is taking in Bitcoin for chicken. Those people obviously don't know the Laszlo story, or they didn't get the point. I don't want to see you buying KFC with Bitcoin. Guys, LibertyX, they've gone out and they've actually started putting all these Bitcoin ATMs all over the country. Right now, you can go into a lot of different locations, over 20,000 retail locations, 7-Eleven, CVS, and Rite Aid, and you can actually purchase Bitcoin. Why are they doing that? Why are they creating this big, giant Bitcoin structure? And then right now, why are Bitcoin ATMs popping up all over the world in major cities and retail stores and pharmacy chains, et cetera, all over the world? You know why? because they know what's happening. The people in the know, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to put in place this massive support structure for Bitcoin and distribution structure for Bitcoin, because they see what's happening, they see the value, and they know it's not a fad. This is where we're going. This is the new form of currency that we're transferring to. And the people who are ahead of the massive wave, those people are getting rich. So what is Q-Trex? Q-Trex is a global peer-to-peer community funding initiative, guys. Peer-to-peer, because we have cut out the middleman, and that's going to become very, very important to you here in just a second. So it's built on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's 100% decentralized, it's 100% transparent, and it's a smarter Bitcoin program. A lot of people, they don't get it. They've been involved in a lot of different programs. They're used to sending their money somewhere else, and then maybe that person who you sent it to says, yeah, next Wednesday or next Thursday when you're supposed to get paid, we'll pay you, but sometimes they don't pay. Sometimes they walk off with your money, all sorts of stuff. That's not going to happen here. This is a funding initiative, and it's a community that's been set up by people like me, people like you, who are simply looking for a way to leverage this incredible growth that's happening in the Bitcoin marketplace. So let me just give you a couple of real quick definitions, and then we'll show you how all of this kind of fits together. Blockchain, a decentralized distributed ledger that records the ownership and authenticity of a digital asset. This is simply to say this. This is something that's secure, it's transparent, and it's unhackable, and it basically verifies that you are getting exactly what you paid for in this case, Bitcoin, and that it registers around the world in a decentralized nature that you are the owner of that particular amount of Bitcoin. This is safer and more secure than something that is at your bank. A smart contract, you're going to hear that. You probably heard it already. You don't know what it is. Hey, real quick comparison. Traditional contract, you and I make an agreement. We put together something in writing, but then we have to go to a third party to execute it, maybe a bank, maybe a real estate attorney, depending on what type of contract it is, etc. And then we actually get to execute it. The problem is with these traditional contracts is sometimes contracts are broken, people change their mind, they start thinking a little bit differently, or sometimes people are actually taken advantage of or scammed by the third party. With a smart contract, we have eliminated the middleman. Two people agree on something, it is then coded onto the blockchain, and it is executed right away. This happens, then that happens. There is no, how do you feel about it? Are you okay? Do you still want to do it? There is no, oh, my attorney had power of attorney, I didn't realize that he was actually, there's none of that. You actually agree on something, it's coded, this happens and that happens. It's a smarter way to do business. And when we were looking at creating what we were looking for with Q-Trex, everybody said, well, hey, if you want to do this, you got to do it with a smart contract. After all, well, it's 100% transparent. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We like that. It's peer-to-peer, so no one ever touches your crypto. That was a big deal for us, going from one person's wallet to another person's wallet with no middleman, no company, kind of dipping in and maybe sending it out or not sending it out or taking off a piece every time. We liked the fact that it was peer-to-peer. It was on the blockchain. And we liked the security of that and the fact it was unhackable and it was decentralized. We loved all of these things, but there were also some cons, and we started to hear them from the people in the industry that wanted to be realistic about it. There were some cons about the blockchain. About the smart contract. Number one, increased fees. We were starting to hear about all these ridiculous fees that people were paying just to be able to execute. It wasn't developed. Smart contracts weren't developed for Bitcoin. They were developed for other types of tokens, other crypto. I'm not here to knock other crypto and other tokens, but I do know one thing. Every time I looked at another token or another crypto and I said, well, how do I turn it into cash eventually? Everybody started off saying, well, first you got to turn it into Bitcoin. So I figured out, why take that extra step? Bitcoin is obviously superior. Everybody knows it because it's the market maker. And the other thing is that it was open source. All smart contracts are open source. You know what that means? It means if somebody sees what you're doing, they like it, they can just go look right on the internet and see exactly how you programmed it, and they can actually use your code to knock you off. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So we said, listen, we don't like this. We don't like this. We don't like this. We do like all that other stuff, but we don't like this stuff. So you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do something better. How about an advanced proprietary tech that provides instant peer-to-peer payouts utilizing algorithms of a highly advanced crowdfunding infrastructure, all with no human interference? That's not a smart contract. That's better than a smart contract. All the things we loved, none of the things that we didn't. That's how we put together Q-Trex. And since everything is fully transparent, no middlemen. Again, Changing of code is impossible and no one can interfere, not even the creators. And it's very important because this ensures that the project will continue without interruptions of any sort. In fact, to symbolize this, Q-Trex built this 99-year clock, just a way of saying it's going to be here longer than you. So you can build up an amazing amount of wealth right now, but this machine can keep going, not just for you, but for future generations. So it's the first fully decentralized Bitcoin matrix and mega unilevel system. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. Transparent, private, fully automated, can't be interfered with, built on the blockchain. And here's the best part. I'm going to say it again. Your Bitcoin's going to arrive directly and instantly in seconds to your Bitcoin wallet over and over again, creating unlimited earning potential. I say that again because so many people will always say, well, how do I get my money out? Your money's out. It's going to your wallet. It's not going to our wallet and then we have to send it to you. It's not sitting somewhere in a back office where you're getting rich on paper, but not rich for real. Your money's out. It's going to your wallet. You have complete control over your Bitcoin wallet. You've got your money. If you want to put it back into the system, you're going to see in a moment, you have to make that decision, but your money is always out. It's your money. So let's discuss the opportunity and how you can get started here with Q-Trex. But first, hey, listen, we want to take care of the legal. So I actually want to go through the disclaimer. This webinar is provided for general information purposes only and does not constitute legal or professional advice. All content shared here is subject to change based on real-time world events affecting the cryptocurrency marketplace, which has been shown to be volatile and changes can occur on a day-to-day basis. The information presented here is for purposes of illustration, and we accept no liability for market changes that are beyond our control. Guys, let me stop there because I love the legalese, but basically what it says is this. We're talking about going out and you acquiring Bitcoin. Obviously, we don't control the Bitcoin market. We are going to actually really benefit from it and dominate it, but we don't control it. And it is up to you to keep an eye on it. Like if you had started with us a couple of weeks ago, you would have probably got Bitcoin for about, and when Bitcoin was around 10.2, 10.3, now it's at 11.4. So that would have been a good thing. If you get started with us today, you can start to think about where you think Bitcoin is going to go and why getting it now is more important than anything else. Q-Trex is not an investment platform, does not sell or market securities, and it offers a global platform with the intention of empowering others regarding the cryptocurrency market, particularly Bitcoin. Your success depends on your skills, work ethic, and marketplace conditions. The developers and global affiliates do not guarantee any level of income or success, right? Q-Trex platform offers an opportunity and compensation plan for the people and by the people. I want you to keep and remember that last thing I just said. For the people and by the people. If you're writing, write that down because everyone says that, but we've got something here with our Q-Trex compensation plan that shows we're the only company that actually means it and the only company that's really going out there and executing with it. So now listen, with Q-Trex, you can join for as little as $50 in Bitcoin, $50 US in Bitcoin, and up to $100,000 US dollars in Bitcoin. So anywhere from $50 to $100. So literally an opportunity for everyone. There is no cap with your earnings potential at all. And our aggressive compensation plan unlocks the doors of nonstop potential and possibilities. Again, with no limitations, and it's all earned directly to your wallet in seconds. So here we go. I want to go through some elements of this so you understand it. Then we're going to put it all together, and then we'll wrap up here for you. The first thing I want you to understand is that statement I just made about the packages anywhere from $50 to $100,000. Every single one of these packs, these Q-Trex packs, you can make a contribution for every single one of these packs, and all of these contributions that you make as you open up one of these packs is going to provide for you more and more leverage for how you can benefit from the Q-Trex community. You're going to notice it here in a second as we really start going through the compensation structure, but I just want you to understand we've got 13 different packs starting at Q1, which is $50, Q2, which is $75, and so on, all the way up to Q13, which is $100,000. You can actually come in anytime you want to and buy as many or as few of these packs as you want. I will show you why you want to actually have a strategy here in a moment, but you can actually buy as many or as few as you want, but you have to get them in order. You can't just come in and say, Q5 looks good, I'll start there. You have to have Q1, 2, 3, and 4 before you can actually get Q5, but you can do that all in the same day if you like, but you can't just start over here or over here. You have to get all the successive packages. For that reason, if you were actually going to buy multiple packages, I wanted to just show you what that looks like. If you're buying Q1, obviously the cumulative cost for Q1 is $50. Q2 It's you would have to get Q1 and Q2, so it's 125. Q3, you would have to get all three, so it's 250, and so on and so on. And I just showed you down through Q7, but this keeps going all the way up to Q13. It's actually a cumulative cost for you to do that. By the way, there was a Q-Trex annual maintenance fee of $33. It is annual. It's one time a year, and it's only $33. It's for that reason that you'll see in a lot of the marketing that's going out there, people saying you can actually, for $83, you can actually enter an opportunity that can change your life, because it's that $50 plus that one-time $33 for the year. That's $83, and for just $83, you can be in business here in Q-Trex and be prepared to go out there and put yourself into a serious position to generate some wealth. So let's get started talking about this so you can start to understand. The first thing I want you to understand is the split. So we showed you all those amounts, right? Anywhere from 50 up to 100K, doesn't matter. The one thing I want you to understand is we've got two halves of our compensation plan. One half is called the upper Q, the other half is called the lower Q, okay? Upper Q is gonna be a unilevel, lower Q is a 1x3 matrix. I'm gonna explain to you everything that means here in a second, but what I want you to get is that every single contribution that comes into our community is gonna instantly be split 50-50, 50% into the upper Q, 50% into the lower Q with no exceptions, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's a person coming in that you referred who comes in just at the Q1 level for 50 bucks of Bitcoin, that's gonna be $25 of Bitcoin going into your upper Q, $25 of Bitcoin to your lower Q, and that stays the same, $37.50 if they come in here. Or even if somebody's upgrading now to the $100,000 in Bitcoin package at Q13, $50,000 worth of Bitcoin is going to go into your upper Q, 50,000 is going to go into your lower Q. You're going to see why in a moment. What I just said is amazing because of this upper Q payment that we're talking about, why you're going to be super excited about the fact that without exception, we put 50% into the upper, 50% into the lower, no matter how large the contribution is. The first thing I want to talk about to you now is the upper Q. We talked about that. Upper Q is our unilevel, and it gets 50% of every contribution that's coming in from your referrals. Now, here's what I want you to understand about a unilevel. This is all it means. Every single person that you refer is going to be what we call frontline to you. So in this example, we show you referring 10 people. All 10 people are straight across frontline to you. If you referred 100 people or 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people, you'd have 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 people straight across, all frontline to you. That's the only thing you need to understand about what a unilevel is. They're all frontline to you. Now, the other thing to understand for our unilevel and our upper Q, we have two positions, the 3rd and the 10th spot. So the 3rd and the 10th person that you refer, the 3rd and the 10th, and only the 3rd and the 10th, their upper Q payments are actually going to pass up to your sponsor. Just the 3rd and the 10th. All the rest of them, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 through a billion, they're all yours. But just the 3rd and the 10th are going to pass up to your sponsor. That is awesome in terms of leverage. And you might say, why would you get excited about giving up the 3rd and the 10th payments? By the way, you're not giving up the people. You're not giving up the 3rd and 10th people. You're just giving up the 3rd and the 10th payments. That's an incredibly fine distinction, and it's important. And you're going to see that here in a second. The reason why you get excited about giving up the 3rd and the 10th payments from these people is because all of these people that you've referred, they're going to be giving up their 3rd and 10ths to you. So even though you gave up these two pass-ups, we call them, you're going to get up to 20, what I like to call pull-ups, because you're pulling them up, and that's your reward for giving up just 2. So you gave up 2 to get 20. That is an amazing amount of leverage. And remember, that's it for you. You're only giving up the payments for the 3rd and the 10th. If you went out and you found 100 people, and we have people that are doing that, I know that Mark finds hundreds of people. If you're going to be able to do that, you're still only giving up the payments from the 3rd and the 10th. So every other person that you find from now until forever, not only are you getting all of their payments, but their 3rd and 10th, you're getting all of those payments as well. That's a massive leveraging component for our upper Q and our unilevel. The other thing I want you to understand about the upper Q, and this is where we start talking about the for the people, by the people, is that all of the Bitcoin in the upper Q, remember, it gets 50% of every single contribution. All of that Bitcoin coming in the upper Q, other than the pass ups, which we already talked about, are awesome, right? All of the other Bitcoin is all yours. Listen to this. regardless of what level you are. Now, anybody who's ever been around any company like this, they know that I just said something big. For the rest of you, you might not get it. That's okay. You will here in a second. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay. Let's say this is you and you are at the Q1 level. So you got started here. You paid this $50 plus your 33 and you're a Q1 and you went out and you referred all 10 of these people. And you just decided for some reason to stay at Q1. And all of these people just went on about their business, building their business, just kept building. They're at all different levels. Well, let me show you something that's going to be amazing to you, even though you're only at Q1. Let's say that this guy, he's been out there building, and now he's actually gone all the way through Q1 through Q6, and now he's ready to upgrade to the Q7 level. Okay, that's $1,000 contribution now to upgrade to the Q7 level. 50% of which is going to come to the upper Q. That's $500 coming to the upper Q. Even though this person is upgrading to the Q7 level and you're only at Q1, that whole $500 is yours. Remember, all the Bitcoin. In fact, just to really drive this home, let's say this person's really been out there crushing it. They've gone all the way up to Q12. Now they're ready to upgrade to Q13. That's $100,000 in Bitcoin to upgrade to Q13. That's 50% of that. 50,000 is coming into the upper Q. That's all yours. Even though you stayed at Q1, you never bought any more of these packages, you never put any more contributions in to get these additional packages, you're still going to be able to benefit in all of the money in the upper Q, except for the pass ups. And again, pass ups are awesome because they come with a whole lot of pull ups. So that's going to be good for you as well. So that's our upper Q. Think about this. Everybody else says for the people, by the people. None of them have a component like this. Every one of them is set up to make sure that the little guy gets nothing. We didn't want that to happen. We wanted to set you up so regardless of where you were, regardless of where you were getting started, you were going to still have an opportunity to make and earn a significant amount of Bitcoin. We're the only company that's done that. Now, in the lower Q, which I'm about to share with you, you can only benefit from their chosen levels of packages of participation. So it's different from the upper Q. So you can join any or all packages. I showed you that already, but you must join the packages lower than you to actually qualify to select higher levels in the upper Q, in the lower Q, I should say. So remember, you can't just join 5. You got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let me show you what the lower Q looks like. First of all, it's a 1x3 matrix, 50%. The other 50%, so we showed you the 50 that's going to the upper Q, the other 50% comes here into the lower Q, this 1x3 matrix. I know a lot of you understand what a matrix is. You've worked in lots of companies with them, but please, for the other leaders on here that have never experienced this before, bear with me here for just 1 second to go through this. 1x3 matrix simply means you're the first spot in there. It's a 1, and then it's going to have 3 spots of people that are going to actually come into the first person that you actually refer. They're going to be the first person in your matrix. You're going to actually earn that 50%. So that 50% that comes in, whatever it is, 500, 1,000, 50,000, whatever, that's going to go to you. The second person, that payment's also going to go to you. But that third payment, anytime it's in yellow, that means it's going to actually pass up somewhere else. That third payment, that's going to go up to your sponsor, and it's going to do what we call cycle you. In other words, you only had 3 spots. They're now filled up. A cycle simply means that you've earned 2, you've passed up 1 to your sponsor. Now you're going to actually start over with a brand new matrix. You simply follow your sponsor to their next available spot, and you have 3 empty spots again in your matrix, and you just keep it going. So the 4th person, 5th person, etc. You just keep getting new matrices. Every time you get a 3rd one, it passes up, cycles you, you get a whole new matrix, and you keep it moving. That's the lower Q. Now, what I want you to understand again is you can only benefit in the lower Q from your chosen package levels of participation. This is why a lot of people choose to go out and for a leveraging purpose, they want to get to as high of a spot as they can get. Let me show you this. The lower Q gets 50%. The 1x3 matrix and the lower Q are synonymous. It's the same thing. But let me just show you. Let's say you went out and you just got started at that Q1 like we said before. All that does is open up a Q1 matrix for you. What that means is if you start referring people and they're coming at this Q1 level, half of 50 is $25. You'll get the first person you refer at Q1, you'll get $25 here, that's yours. Second person, $25 here, that's yours. Third person, $25 here, goes up to your sponsor, cycles you, you get a new Q1 matrix, and you can keep benefiting from all your Q1 referrals. However, what do you think happens if somebody says, hey, I want to come in at the Q2 level? Well, the problem for you is you don't have a Q2 matrix. So the 50% of this 75 bucks, it has nowhere to go as far as you're concerned. So it goes to someone else who actually does have that matrix. And that's the same thing with the Q3, 4, 5, 6, etc. That's why most people are going to come in and they're going to purchase multiple packages right out of the gate and get multiple matrices right out of the gate, in this case Q1 through Q5, because they want to leave as little money on the table as possible. This way, no matter whether they're referring somebody in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or Q5, they're getting all of those 50% payments into one of their matrices and they're earning that money. Okay, they don't want to leave it on the table for someone else. That's why people who get it, they're not staying at Q1, they're going up as high as they can. They eventually want to get to Q13, so now they're having those $100,000 days, if that makes sense to you. And that's where all the excitement is coming from and the buzz is coming from, as people are moving up and up. $5,000 days, $10,000 days, $20,000 days, etc. And I have it on good information that here within another week to two, we're going to have people at this Q13 level set up to get $100,000 days. So that's pretty amazing what's happening here in terms of speed. Now, the lower Q also has something called spill up. And what I love about this is it is a reward for you going out and introducing this as quickly as you can to the sharpest people that you can. Let's say you get started and the only thing that you do is you go out and find Joe. Joe's a stud. Joe's never heard of Q-Trex. You have Joe watch a webinar like this. Joe gets it. He gets started. Joe's even better at this than you are. So before you can even do anything else, Joe goes and does what Joe does, and he just goes to work, right? And Joe goes and says, okay, I got a person. I'm going to introduce them. That person takes up the first position in Joe's matrix. He introduces the second person. He gets paid that, but then he introduces that third person. Remember that that third person that he's going to introduce, their payment goes up to Joe's sponsor, your Joe's sponsor. So now Joe's got himself paid twice. He got you paid again though, because he actually got the third person. Now that cycles Joe, and he now needs to open up a new matrix. So where's he going to go? His next position, he's always following his sponsor, right? Your next position open is your second position. There's nobody there. So Joe pops back into your matrix. Now he's taken up your first two positions. So he's not two people, he's just taken up two positions. Joe goes out and finds a fourth person, he gets paid again. And a fifth person, he gets paid again. But then he finds a sixth person, up to his sponsor, that's you get paid again. So Joe's getting you paid over and over again, but you haven't done anything extra except you found Joe and Joe was a stud. That cycles him. He actually now has to go to the next position available. That's your third position. Well, now Joe has all three positions in your matrix, right? Now here's where it gets great. Joe now takes up the third position in your matrix. That cycles you, goes up to your sponsor. So guess what? Joe's getting himself paid and earning Bitcoin. He's getting you paid and earning Bitcoin. He just got your sponsor paid and earned him or her some Bitcoin. Your sponsor is saying, who is Joe? I don't know, but go Joe. You guys get it? This is incredible, right? And now when you cycle, because that was your third position, just for board size, I'm going to put it down here. You got a whole new matrix that's going to open up. Joe keeps at it. He finds a seventh person. He gets paid. An eighth person, he gets paid. A ninth person, that now goes up to you. You get paid again. Joe's popping into the next position in your new matrix, and that just keeps going on over and over and over again. There's a Joe right now on this webinar who in a short period of time has already gotten dozens and dozens and dozens of referrals into this community. So you can imagine that this is not just a theoretical example. This is going on right now. You know what's better than having Joe doing all this? Having 5 or 6 Joes doing all this, 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 Joes doing all this. This is why people have Bitcoin coming out of their ears. They don't even know where it's coming from because they don't even understand how just a handful of people that are leaders are going out and moving so fast, even faster than them, but they're still benefiting from all that growth because of this incredible spill up feature. Now, the next thing is that the upper and lower Q both operate simultaneously. Guys, we're almost wrapped up here, but I love this. This to me is almost like the final exam. It's like, did you put it all together? You know, it's all split into 50-50. It's packages of this, et cetera, et cetera. So let's take a look at them operating simultaneously. So this is you. We're going to actually use for this example, people upgrading to the Q7 level, which is the $1,000 level. So if they were already at Q6, just to upgrade to Q7, it would cost them $1,000 in Bitcoin. They would have to put in as a contribution to move up to that Q7 level. This is your upper Q, the unilevel. This is your lower Q where you got your Q7 matrix. So your first person, they decided to upgrade. They come up here, 50%, that's 500 bucks. That's all you. Okay. They also take up the first position in your Q7 matrix. That's another 500 bucks all to you. So now you can see it's operating together. If this was Mike, this is Mike's half of Mike's payment. This is the other half of Mike's payment contribution, and you're getting both of them. You just earned $1,000 of that contribution. Your second person, that could be Sue. Sue comes in there. She's going to be the second person in your unilevel. That $500, that goes to you. She's the second position down here in your Q7 matrix as well. That $500 goes to you as well. You just got 100% of that contribution as well. Now, look at the third person. The third person here is your pass up to your sponsor, okay? So that's going to go to the sponsor. And down here, that third person also happens to be the third person in this matrix. That's going to go up to the sponsor as well, right? We love this, though, because it means the same thing is happening with your people. Remember, for every pass up, you're getting pull-ups, right? But that cycles you down here, and it opens up a whole new Q7 matrix for you, okay? So now the fourth person comes in, that's going to $500 up here. That's the first position in this new matrix. That's another 500 bucks. You get $1,000 of that. Fifth person, same thing. You get $1,000 of that, upper and lower, 5 and 5. And then when the sixth person comes in, remember up here, your sixth person is not a pass up. So you get that $500, but down here, that sixth person is the third position in your new matrix. That gets passed up to your sponsor. It cycles you. You get a whole new Q7 matrix, and the beat goes on. Guys, most of the times you're getting 100% of the contribution. Some of the times you're getting 50. And on a rare occasion, when it's going to come in as a 3 or 3, that's passive to your sponsor. But again, that's also going to be the pull-ups as well. So you've got Bitcoin coming from every single direction. You can't keep track of it, even though it's all listed there in your back office. You can go through a forensic analysis and you can see it. But as your balance just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and more momentum picks up, it gets crazy what's happening. Final thing I'm going to tell you is this, because you're going to all of a sudden see some Bitcoin popping up to you with some names that you don't recognize at all. This is why. In the lower Q, you can be paid through infinite levels in your lower Q. Let me give you a scenario, okay? You're at the Q7 level. You went out and found Joe. Let's say this Joe, he only found one person. So you're at Q7. Joe said, I'm getting started at Q1, $50 level. Okay, great. Joe only finds one person, Jim, who also gets started at the Q1 level. Jim finds Sue, who also gets started at Q1 level, but Sue finds Bob. Remember, I said find people that are better and moving faster than you. She finds Bob. Bob says, look, I don't know what you guys are doing. I saw the webinar. I understand. I don't want to leave anything on the table. The highest level I can afford to get started at right now is Q5. So Bob starts off at Q5, where he comes up and he actually purchases all 5 of these packages right out the gate. Now remember, again, you have to get them all. You're purchasing all of them. The cumulative total for purchasing Q5 is $1,000. Okay, $1,000 gets you all 5 of these packages. 50% of that, 500 bucks, comes into the lower Q. This is what our system does. It says, okay, well, 50% came in the lower Q. We have to pay that out. So who are we paying that out to? Well, let's look at Bob's sponsor. Sue is only at Q1. You can only benefit in the lower Q from your chosen package levels of participation. She's only at Q1. That's her chosen package level of participation. Q1 is a $50 level. 50% of that is 25 bucks. She only qualifies for $25 of that 500. We got $475 left over that we need to pay out. We look at Jim. Jim, what are you doing? Q1, already paid that. You get 0. Joe, Q1, already paid that. You get 0. Gets to you. You're at Q7, which means you have packages Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that remaining 475, that's popping up to you. Now, you never met Bob. You may never meet Bob. That's okay, because this isn't just 3 levels deep. This could have been 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 levels deep if people have not put themselves in position. But you have, you can have these Bitcoin contributions coming to you from infinite levels. And I just gave you with one person. This could have been any, it could have been Kim, could have been anyone else. And it starts coming up and you're going to see all these amazing contributions coming out. That's where it gets crazy at. Again, Bitcoin coming from every direction. So what do you think the strategy is, right? This is the final exam, pop quiz. What's the strategy? Race to the top. Guys, get started as high as you can, then recapitalize your position for more leverage. What does recapitalize means? It means if you can get started at Q1, that's as high as you can get started as Q1. So you make an $83 decision to get started, and you pay the $50 here plus the 33 annual, and then you got $83, and now you're in at the package Q1. Go out and find as many people as you can. You might find somebody who can come in and say, hey, I can come in and I can put $1,000 in. Remember, you're going to get half of that in your upper Q. So you get $500 in your upper Q, and your lower Q, you'll get another $25 because you have the Q1 in the lower Q. So you'll get half of that as well. So you get $525. What should you do with that $525? Go out and buy up some more packages. So next time you're not leaving half on the table, right? And you just keep recapitalizing all the way up to Q13, because now you're going to be in position to have $100,000 days. In fact, as you have more and more people that are coming on board and multiple people upgrading to Q13 at the same day, you're having several $100,000 Bitcoin days. That's how people are setting themselves up right now. And the reason why they're doing it is because they're jumping on this now to get the maximum amount of leverage. Right now, they're saying it's time to engage and take massive action. Do not wait. I know a lot of people have bought into that old lie that good things come to those who wait. Guys, here's the truth. It's usually just the scraps that are left over by those who hustle. That is an absolute fact. Stop waiting. Seriously, stop waiting. Unless you're currently being paid to serve other people food, stop being a waiter. It's time to get started. And I'm being really serious about this because I talked to someone today and they were giving me this, man, I don't know, man, let's wait and see how it goes and everything. And all I could think about was that I know in my family tree, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I know a lot of people can echo this sentiment. There's a lot of people in our family trees who have literally procrastinated themselves to poverty. Don't be the next one. This is a serious pathway to profits, man. An $83 decision that can change your life. And I said it before, listen, if you don't have the $83, here's what you need to do. Whatever your device is that you're watching this webinar on right now, your phone, your computer, sell that. Sell that, get the $83, get in Q-Trex, earn some serious Bitcoin, and then buy another one, a better one. Upgrade your device while at the same time upgrading your life. You can do that here with Q-Trex. Guys, we're in the middle of a leaders launch, and the people right now who are positioning themselves, they're doing it because they understand that these companies grow into the hundreds of thousands globally very, very quickly. And the people who join today are going to be in position to leverage and maximize the contributions in our community from all of the masses that are going to join tomorrow. You have to make a decision what's best for you and your family. So you want to get started with us? Great. Go out and get a blockchain wallet or a Bitcoin wallet. We like to look at blockchain wallet as one of our companies that we utilize simply because it works with us every single time. It's very, very fast. In fact, locally, we tell people here in the United States, get a blockchain wallet. It's also available in other countries, but if it's not, Coinami seems to be something that works very, very well around the world as well. Guys, we have a lot of details here about if you've never had a wallet before, about writing down your email and your password for safekeeping because it's yours and that's the only way you're going to ever be able to access it. But here's the deal. If you've never done this before, don't do this by yourself. We can have as many instructions as we want. I'm telling you, this is a big move. You put something on a blockchain that's hard coded in, it's a one-time thing. You can't come back and make changes like you did in all the other companies you were with. You just call up customer service and say, oops, and they can go and they can mess around with it. This is a permanent coding. So get with the person who invited you into the community. They can walk you through it step by step because somebody walked them through it step by step. And you want to make sure that everything's right because you don't want to end up with 10,000, 50,000, 100K in Bitcoin somewhere and you don't know how to access it. So let's make sure that at the very beginning, we're doing it right. We got to get